What's in the box, Amelia?
Amelia's dad had a plan. A surprise. The kind of surprise that either goes exactly right or completely sideways. He walked through the door with a golden retriever puppy. Nobody was prepared for what happened next. Amelia took one look at that puppy and just lost it, in the best possible way. She couldn't process it. She couldn't stand still. She ran from one side of the room to the other, laughing, barely able to breathe, like her body had too much joy in it and didn't know what to do with all of it. Her parents stood there watching and realized they had massively underestimated how much this moment was going to mean to her. They had actually wondered if she might be scared. She was not scared. And the puppy? He took one look at Amelia and decided she was his person. Right then. No adjustment period, no warming up, no hesitation. He went straight to her and started licking her face like they'd known each other forever. That was the beginning of Phil and Amelia. Before Phil could fully settle in, he needed a bath. He was brand new to this house, just arrived, and the first order of business was getting him cleaned up properly. Amelia's dad brought him to the sink. Amelia followed immediately. She was not going to let her new best friend get a bath without her. That was not happening. So they did it together. Amelia and her dad, side by side, washing this puppy with the kind of careful attention usually reserved for something extremely important, which, to Amelia, this absolutely was. Phil endured the whole thing with the patience of a dog who had already decided these people were worth tolerating a bath for. This wasn't the family's first pet. They already had other animals in the house, a full household, a lived-in kind of place where animals were part of the furniture. But something about Phil was different for Amelia. She had connections with all of them. She loved all of them. Phil was different. Phil was hers. When her dad put Phil in his crate, Amelia went and opened it. Every time. She wasn't being defiant, she just couldn't stand the idea of him being in there when he could be out here with her. When Amelia fell asleep, her dad would carry Phil over and set him down right next to her. When she woke up in the morning and found him there, already awake, already looking at her, she would start playing with him before she'd even fully opened her eyes. That was their routine. That was just how mornings worked now. Then came the day the family decided to introduce Phil to Cody. Cody is their cat, has been part of the household long enough to have opinions about things, specific, strong opinions, and a new puppy was definitely going to require an opinion. The family watched carefully. Cody saw Phil from across the room and just stared. That long, slow, unblinking cat stare that could mean anything. They let Phil closer. Cody bolted. Not aggressive, just gone, back to a safe distance where he could observe without committing to anything. For the next 5 or 6 hours, Cody circled the situation, got a little closer, retreated, got closer again, watched from around corners, watched from the top of the couch, watched from the hallway. Phil, for his part, had no idea any of this was a big deal. He was just existing, being a puppy, doing puppy things, completely unbothered by the cat who was running a full background check on him from across the room. The family even held Phil and tried to bring him close to Cody directly. Cody was not ready for direct contact. By then, the family had named him Phil, by the way. It just felt right. 2 or 3 days later, something shifted. Cody stopped running. And then, one evening, without any announcement, Cody walked over and fell asleep next to Phil. Just like that. No ceremony, no gradual approach, just, okay, fine, you can stay. That's cats for you. But Cody wasn't the only one Phil won over. There was Nico. Nico is big, like actually big. The kind of dog that makes people do a double take when they see him next to a puppy. Phil didn't notice the size difference. He just saw another dog and thought, friend. And Nico, to his credit, met that energy carefully at first, then fully. The two of them figured out how to play together in a way that somehow worked despite the obvious size mismatch. Watching them together became one of the family's favorite things, Amelia especially. She would watch Phil and Nico going at it, this tiny puppy and this enormous dog, and just laugh. Phil was adopted from a rescue center. His mother had given birth to 5 or 6 puppies, and the center was small, too small for that many dogs at once. They were doing their best, but it wasn't sustainable. Amelia's dad heard about it. He had already been thinking about a surprise for his daughter. He drove to the rescue center and came home with Phil. As Phil got bigger, one thing became clear pretty quickly. Amelia's little brother was not sure about Phil. Phil would go over to him, friendly, tail going, tongue out, and the little brother would just start crying every time.
He didn't mean to. What do you mean? Come on.
Phil tried everything. Slow approaches, staying low, licking his hand gently the way dogs do when they're trying to say, "Hey, it's okay. I'm not a threat. Please stop crying." It didn't work immediately. But Phil is patient in this specific way that friendly dogs are patient. He just kept showing up, kept being gentle, kept trying. And eventually, slowly, it worked. The little brother stopped crying. Then he started laughing. Then he started looking for Phil when Phil wasn't in the room. That's how it goes sometimes. Some friendships kick longer. Some just need a dog persistent enough to keep showing up until the fear runs out. Phil was exactly that dog. Today, Phil is fully grown. He's not that tiny puppy anymore, not by a long shot. He's big now, and he knows it, and he uses every inch of it when he's playing. But his friendship with Cody? Still exactly what it was. They eat together, cause trouble together, sleep near each other like 2 animals who have quietly decided they're stuck with each other and are fine with that. And Amelia's dad takes the kids out on bikes sometimes, riding around the yard, circling, just having fun. Phil runs behind them the whole time. Not beside them, behind them, like he's made it his personal responsibility to make sure no one gets too far ahead. He does the same thing inside the house. Wherever the kids go, Phil goes. Not because he was trained to, not because anyone told him to, because he decided that's his job. And Phil has never needed much convincing when it comes to being exactly where his people are. Amelia's dad thought he was bringing home a surprise. What he actually brought home was the missing piece of something the whole family didn't know they were waiting for.